On this episode of Scotty's Garage, we're going to talk about what happened with our 12s/2K Falcon at the track and how we're going to fix it. For those of you just joining me, this is 12s/2K, an AU Falcon that I've built for just about $2,000, but we'll get to the budget stuff a bit later. So over the last few months I've been building this car. It's got a max speeding rods, GT45 type turbo, it's got a max speeding rods intercooler and wastegate, it's got 1000cc injectors, it's on E85, and we've stripped a heap of weight out of it. And just done little bits and pieces like change the diff ratio to 323 from 308, things like that to try and make it go 12s down the quarter mile. And last week we took it out to try and do that, and it failed dismally. Yeah, it did not go well at all. I mean, to be honest, I went out there totally unprepared. The car barely ran when I put it on the car trailer. You can see it runs quite well now, but that's with the J3 chip not plugged in. As soon as I plug the chip in, it all goes to shit, and I'll show you that right now. So this is our J3 chip, and if you want to see how that works, you can go back to one of our previous build episodes, but basically it plugs into the J3 port on your factory ECU and allows you to trick it into basically tuning the car. All right, so I'll plug that in and we'll fire it up, or try to, and you'll see what I mean. So you just heard the car running totally fine before, and here we are, we plugged the J3 chip in, and let's see if she starts. It'll probably start, but it won't run well. I've got to try and keep it running. Yeah. So I've got to try and keep it running with my foot on the pedal and just bounce the pedal up and down to keep it running. Otherwise it won't run. So we've got an issue, and that's what it was like at the track. Every time we plugged the J3 in, it all went to shit. But now I think we know why. So to tell this story properly, I should start way back at the start, and I was going to do that the other day when I had the car out of the shed. However, the battery went flat on the laptop and I couldn't show you any of the things I was going to show you. So here we are another day with a fully charged laptop, and it is 38 degrees here in the shed. I know I keep saying about this, how hot it is. Usually it's not quite that hot down here. Yes, we live in the south of Australia, and for people in the northern hemisphere, they're probably going, oh, you're in the south, of course it's going to be hot. Don't work that way down here. I can drive an hour and go see penguins. Usually it's not that hot down here. So anyway, it is toasty warm. What the fuck was that? Massive moth. Anyway, we're getting off subject. So back at the start, I was going to do a Barra ECU conversion on this. So Barras are a Ford 6 that's got a nice big square computer, very tunable, make a lot of power, and they're everywhere. So very cheap and easy to get. I had one in the workshop, even or unlocked, ready to go, and we could have wired that in pretty cheap and done pretty well with it. However, one of my viewers sent me a J3 chip, and I thought, well, let's try this instead. Turned out that J3 chip wasn't suitable for what we were doing, but by that time, someone else had sent me a wideband controller with a wideband sensor, and then I'd bought a screen so I could read in real time what that wideband sensor was doing. So I was kind of committed to the whole J3 experience. But as you saw out at the track, it didn't really work for me. And when Jason watched the video, he said, oh, I saw you putting E85 in the car. I'm like, yeah. He's like, I gave you a 98 tune. I'm like, I probably should have told you about that. Yeah, so that's why it ran so bad. It was tuned for 98 and I had E85 in it, so I was running wildly lean and not happy at all. And yeah, them's the breaks. So anyway, Jason has sent me an E85 tune and we're going to throw it into our J3 chip. So to do this, you will need an emulator. These are available from TI Performance. You will need your J3 chip. You will need a laptop that's suitable, and we can plug that in and make it work. So let's plug him in. Right, so let's get into our tuning software. So we're using Tuner Pro RT. Now, the way that it's very easy to upload and download tunes off chips, but if you get center tune, so you got to go in and get your XDF file. So these are all available on TI Performance. Basically, you find out what model car you got. We've got an AU Series 2, so we needed the definition file, the XDF file, for our car, and we have that. It's this NGIC9, and so we'll open that up. We're going there, do that. All right, select that, and then we get our bin file and we go over here, open the bin file again that Jason has sent me. We open that up, we can do a check, make sure it's the right file, open up the injector slope. So we see we've got 30 pounds in there, which is probably not correct, but we'll see how that goes. And we come down here to the fuel base table, open that up, and you'll see that we've got some figures in there as well. So we have something to work with. So now we're just going to upload that tune. We've got it sitting there. Let's upload it into the chip. Go here to the up arrow and push that. Little bars moving across. Uploading, uploading. Goes green. Yoo-hoo! Okay, we have a tune in our chip. So let's unplug it and we shall plug it into the AU. Let's stick this in the bag. It is quite humid today, so static is not our friend. Put that in the bag. We'll go plug that into the AU and see how the car goes now. Hopefully it goes boom. Right, plug him in. Put a little cover over him. Helps locate him and keep him in place. There we go. Right, let's see if it starts. So, haven't fixed this switch yet, so into neutral. Oh, pump primes, good. It runs, it idles by itself. It's amazing. Alright, so it's not perfect, but it's a baseline, it's a starting point. From here, we can fix it. It works. All right, it's a bit late in the afternoon to be doing that. So, but anyway, it works. From here, we can make changes. Hopefully, make it run properly and go race it. Anyway, I think that'll do for tonight. Let's go inside where the air conditioning is on. So we have a tune and it works really well. So massive shout out to Jason at TI Performance for sorting out a tune for us. It was a miscommunication. I should have been adamant. You know, this thing is on E85 and unfortunately we had a 98 tune and not an E85 tune. But I I had hoped that we were going to make this thing work. I was pretty confident we were after seeing Drew and Duncan's ute and how that went at Heathcote. It went down the track really well. It basically had a chip just plugged in it. They hadn't tuned it or done anything with it. The ute went 13.3 and then 13.6. And, you know, he kind of missed a gear on that 13.6 run. And then it shed the balancer and they couldn't make any more runs. But I think they would have got that ute into the 12s if they'd been able to keep running. So that definitely gave me confidence and hope that we were going to get this thing working. And, you know, you see it does work. You know, so we've just flashed a tune into it. The car runs and runs really well. So again, thank you, Jason, for sorting that out for us. From here, I think we need to go to the dyno. So we're going to take it to Zane at max performance, run it up on the dyno. Now, I know you're all thinking, that's going to blow your budget and you should run it the way it is. And I'm like, sure, I'd love to run it the way it is, but it costs me quite a bit of money to get this thing out to the track. You know, by the time I hire a trailer, borrow mum's ute, fill it up with fuel, you know, entry fee to the track, you know, it's like at least a $500 exercise every time I go out there. And that is a minimum. And then I've got to hire a camera guy to actually film the day because I can't film and drive at the same time. So say $1,000 every time I take it out. So when you're talking about budgets, yeah, money gets away from you real quick. So I want it right by the time we take it out next time. And of the 3 cars that ran 12s during the drag day on Australia Day, every one of those 3 cars had done dyno time. So that to me makes it very clear that at this performance level in the 12-second zone, you are not really plugging and playing. You need to do some actual hardcore tuning. So I think we need to remove tuning from the budget, make that as just like an extra and make it available to everyone. And I think if we make it available to everyone, you know, because most guys, not everyone, but most can find a tuner who will work with them and help them achieve their goal. So I think it's going to be advantageous for everyone to have tuning as not part of their budget, and we will get more cars into that 12-second zone as a result of that. Sorry about my throat, and I am actually really crook at the moment. So anyway, so tuning, no longer part of the budget. I'm calling it. If you're unhappy with it, I'm sorry, but it's just the way it's going to be. Like I said, we had like 8 or 9 cars out there. I think 8 of them were actually running, and of those 8 cars, 3 of them ran 12s, and all 3 of those cars had been on the dyno for tuning. So it makes it pretty clear to me that tuning should not be part of the budget. So let's talk about the budget. I've done the list. Let me bring it up. Okay, where are we? Open that. Okay, go away messages. Okay, everyone's messaging me. Okay, our budget. So I'll just start from the order that I've got written. So intercooler piping, I picked up a whole bunch of random pipes from Carnage, plus, you know, bought a couple pieces from places like, you know, Speed Parts and Speed Pro and that sort of thing. So it's a real jumble. So what I'm going to do is put it down as the same price as you can buy an intercooler piping kit from eBay, which is essentially what I've got, you know, like it's just a bunch of pipes and a bunch of silicons, and you can buy them for $151. So I think that's fair. The intercooler, you can get them on eBay at $173. Now people say, oh, but what did you actually pay? Well, little secret, Max Speeding Rods reached out to me and said, Scotty, you know, do you need some stuff? We'll send it out to you. So I got the turbo, the intercooler, the wastegate, all that for free. But I've got to put prices on it, don't I? So let's look it up and see what you can get them for on eBay and Amazon. So intercooler, 173. Intercooler pipe welding with Ben, I've put $100 on that because I drove over there, I taped it all up, cut it, taped it, brought it all over to him. It was all ready to go. He whacked it on his bench, welded it, and like I said, it was like done in 45 minutes. You know, it was done pretty quick. So, you know, he didn't put his usual, he took care, but there's, you know, levels of speed and and quality. He knew I didn't need the quality, I just needed the speed. So that's what he gave me, and we got workable pipes, $100. So wastegate, sorry, wastegate, $92 for that 44mm gate, $280 for that GT45 turbo. It's a bit more expensive than the 35. The J3 chip, $299. The map sensor was $39. The regulator, $46. The map adapter was $58. The little cable to adapt the AU loom to the BA map sensor. I'll try and keep these as a running total as I mention them. The second-hand wall bro was $50. The injectors were $240. Battery relocation kit, I mean, it was an old tray and some old cable, and so I'll put $50. You may not agree. It is what it is. T4 flange is about $15. Barra exhaust manifold from Jolly's was $33. Oil lines for the turbo, I've got $100 down for that. It's, you know, again, one of those flexible things. The diff and the mini spool, $200. The 6-boost adapter was $190, and the injector spacers were $53 to give us a grand total of $2,069. So I am just over the budget. I'm $69 over budget, which I think is pretty good, to be honest. A few people will probably say, oh, what about that fancy gauge you got on your dash? Well, that's a tuning tool. I can pull that out of the car will still run. It doesn't need it to run. You know, boost gauge, it doesn't need it to run. I can plug that hole, it doesn't need it to run. These are kind of tuning tools to help us get us where we need to be, but they are transferable from car to car. What does the car need to run? It needs the J3 chip. Won't run without it, and won't run without a tune in that. And thankfully the tune from Jason was free. That's a service he provides to all his customers. He will give you an initial baseline if you buy, you know, the chip from him. Now we actually have a baseline. What we had before was like throwing darts at a dartboard, but it was dark and the dartboard was 3 suburbs away. That's what it felt like. So I got super frustrated with it. And, you know, I didn't mean to make people think that, you know, these things don't work. They definitely do work. We proved that, and we've proved it just then. So again, great after sales support from those guys. And I bought that wideband gauge from TI Performance. I bought the map adapter from TI Performance. I bought the little cover. I didn't actually put that in the price. It was like $10, but I don't think anyone cares about that. Yeah, some other cables for, again, to hooking, tuning to laptops and stuff like that. So yeah, and everything turned up really quick. So yeah, that's where we are with budget. So just to recap, we're at $2,069 on the budget. Tuning is no longer part of the budget moving forward, and I'm going to announce that to everyone. So just to free everyone up and allow them to get their cars sorted so we can all hit our goals. And I think so many guys were in the 13s, but with no tuning. They were in the 13s, and, you know, I think, yeah, when we were doing 13s for 1300, it kind of made sense. 13s was a much easier target. But this 12-second zone, I think it requires that extra tuning. So, like I said, tuning no longer part of the budget. The car runs. I assume it drives. I mean, you know, it barely ran before, so I assume it will drive. I will test that. But we will get it over to Zane, put it on the dyno at max performance, and you're going to see that on some future episodes of Scotty's Garage. Don't go away. I'll be back in a sec to do our monthly draw. So now it's time for our monthly tool draw. And the way this works is every month I give away a toolkit to one of our Patreon viewers every month. So we do 3 major draws during the year, which is Father's Day, Christmas, Australia Day. And then the rest of the year we just do a smaller draw, but still very cool toolkits. Because this is a major draw, it's also open to every paid Patreon member, regardless of level. So it doesn't matter if you're a supporter, fan, super fan, or mega fan. You can win this kit for as little as $2. So you just got to be paid up by the end of the month. I'll take the figures from the end of the month, put them in this tin, shake it up, draw it out. So this month we have this SP Tools kit. I like to mix it up every month. So 65 piece plastic case with full of tools. This looks like a great case to stick in someone's car as an emergency toolkit, you know, if you get stuck on the side of the road. So it's worth $339. That's right. It's worth a bit of coin. So let's do the draw. Shake him up. Stir it around. Try and grab a single piece. Nope, dropped it. Okay, sorry whoever that was. One. I have one. What do we got? Simon. Simon, you're a winner. I'm going to be in contact. Enjoy your prize. Like I said, $339 toolkit. I think that will do us for this month. I think I've given you enough information, talked to the camera enough, but the cliff points being that the car now runs. We have sorted out the problem. I've given you my budget. We've adjusted the rules to allow, you know, tuning outside the budget. And we've done our tool draw. So, we'll see you next month. Actually, no, next week. Next week. Fuck. Let's do that again. I can't. I've done the draw. Wow. I really screwed this up. Anyway, see you next week. Hey, Simon. You won. I am so tired. I am so sick. Sorry, guys. Anyway, see you later.